Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 15. I'm sure everybody is happy that this is tax day. Has all their taxes done. I'm Vern Tepe. I hereby call to order the Kane County Transportation Committee. Roll call, please.
Berman, Iqbal, Caius, Leonard, Roth,
here.
Williams,
Here.
Doherty,
Here.
Tepe,
Here.
and Pirog. She is on remote. You have an in-person one.
We have, okay. I have two remote attendance requests one from Mo Iqbal and one from Mr. Doherty. Any objection?
No problem.
Request for approval of minutes from March 18th.
Mr. Chairman, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from March 18th, 2025.
Okay, unanimous consent has been requested. Any objection? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to public comment. I have a Richard Meyer on the list. Mr. Meyer, are you here or remote? I know that Mr. Meyer had sent in a letter and is working with the people from KDOT to talk about a particular stop sign. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. All right, we're past public comment.
Michael Nelson, if you put that up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's Richard Meyer. Oh, Michael Nelson. Mr. Nelson? Thank you. Sorry.
No issues at all. I would have coughed and said something. Hi there. Sorry. My name is Michael Nelson. I've been a resident of Kane County, specifically St. Charles, Campton Hills, right on that edge there, for my whole life, 29 years. My family's been around for a decade before me. I just speak to my family just for a moment. My dad is pastor of Hosanna Lutheran Church for the last 40 years up in St. Charles. He'll be retiring soon, and that's a whole separate thing. But he also was one of the two people, I don't have the other name, I'm not going to waste time thinking about it, to help establish Lazarus House. My family's been part of this community. My mom has been a chaplain up in Elgin for the entire time I've been around. She also was a pastor over in Lee, outside of Kane County. But I mentioned this just to say that all of our communities are interconnected, that people here in Campton Hills work in St. Charles, go help in Elgin, go help in Lee. We are not individual communities. We are all a great group of people. Me and my siblings have lived in and outside of St. Charles exact township, but we move back and forth. The topic I'd like to talk about right now today is urbanism and public transit. This is something that I've cared about for at least 5+ years. I've cared about it. We could call it as my pandemic hyperfixation, but something that I've cared about deeper before then, but learned the words for then. Because what's important to me is community and offering third spaces, reducing the barrier to existence and participation in our world. I would like to speak, this goes faster than I thought. I'd like to speak to something that the Metra system has published. The Metra CTA and PACE will be facing a major budget deficit starting in 2016 as federal COVID relief funds are expected to expend. The Illinois legislature is aware of the looming shortfall and is working on a solution, but the clock is ticking. If Illinois does not act by this spring, Metra, CTA, and PACE will be forced to prepare for drastic service cuts and fare increases to balance revenues and expenses. We know that would be a death spiral, and higher fares and less service would drive away even more drivers. I could speak on that more. They call for folks to talk to their state representatives, and I know I'm not talking to the state. I spoke to my city as well, but this is something that we should care about. This is a gem that we are lucky to have, one that helps all of us. It helps build community. It helps our businesses and it is an investment in ourselves. It allows people to cross-pollinate in business. It is an investment that we could make. We should help support this at every level that we can. And speaking to St. Charles, speaking to Kane County, why should we care if not all of our cities have it? In fact, I would support if we were to have a Fox River rapid transit bus system along Route 31, one that could go from Elgin and Algonquin, from Aurora to Yorkville and Oswego. We could take small steps to interconnect all of our metro systems and make these spokes into a wheel.
Thank you.
That was fast.
Thank you.
Next, in traffic safety, we have a presentation by Lorraine Chidester.
Chittister.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Lorraine Chittister, and I work here in Kane County in your GIS Technologies Department. I've been here for 30 years. I have all these papers spread out because this is about how many times I've written this out and what I want to say. I've written this speech a million times. From a widow's plea, don't drive distracted and pay attention while in a work zone. The most dangerous work zone, in my opinion, is a moving one, and this is the type of zone Steve died in. When you see the warning signs, take the pledge to slow down like someone's life depends on it. As for my husband, it ended up with 13 items broken or removed, 2 body bags, a closed casket, and 1 widow still struggling. Family still broken with the events of 5/19/2016. It's caused PTSD, anxiety, depression, agoraphobia with panic disorder. 9 years gone and it still feels like yesterday. National Work Zone Awareness Week is hosted by North Carolina Department of Transportation. It runs from April 21st to April 25th. The 5-day outline is Work Zone Safety Training Day, National Kickoff Event. On Wednesday, April 23rd, I encourage everyone to go orange. Social media storm on the 24th, and then on the 25th, a moment of silence to remember the men and women whose lives were lost in a work zone incident. Steve died because someone was driving distracted. When you get in a car, you are responsible not only for yourself, but others around you. Yes, accidents happen, but they can be avoided by becoming a defensive driver instead of a distracted one. Driving is the privilege. Cell phones are the dangerous distraction of all. That call, that text, anything on the phone can wait. Your life or someone else's matters more than the phone. I urge you to put it in the trunk. Most critical skill, be aware of your surroundings. We already said that. Okay. Okay. We've all done it. We know it's dangerous, but we do it anyways. We find ourselves saying, oh, it's only 1 second, but this is how that 1 second could turn out. Texting and driving, many of us see this type of commercial at least 3 to 4 times a month, but many of us say, that's never going to happen to me. You may just be sending a quick hello or I'm on my way. Whatever that text may say, it's not worth you losing your life for someone else. According to the magazine, cell phones and driving states, according to the magazine, cell phone and driving states that the phone usage comes in to the top of the list of being one of the most distracted things to a driver. First, let's begin how texting and driving can take your own life. According to National Women's Health Resources, there are 3 kinds of distracted driving. First is a visual, which is taking your eyes off the road. Second is manual, which is taking your hands off the wheel. And third is cognitive, which is not thinking about your driving. The death of a 7-year-old boy is because you couldn't resist your phone. You couldn't say, no, I'm not going to text and drive, but you still chose to pick up your phone. Texting and driving can cause you to take the life of others. Not only will it make you feel guilty for the rest of your life, but it can also land you in jail for up to 3 years at the time of this what I looked up. That message that you really want to text can wait. And then I'm gonna read one last thing real quick and then I'll be finished. The state of Illinois, when Steve died, they did a kind of what is like a resolution, I believe. Whereas the members of the Illinois Senate are saddened to learn the death of Steve Chedister of Cortland, who passed away on May 19th, 2016. Whereas Steve Chedister was born March 29th, 1972 in Geneva. His parents were Larry and Sandy Chedister. He married Lorraine Bradley on May 4th, 1996. They began their life together in Elburn and they moved to Sugar Grove. And on September 15th, they moved to the current home in Cortland. Steve Chedister grew up in Elburn and attended local schools. He graduated from Canelan High School with the class of 1990. Before accepting his diploma, he went to the state meet, the cross-country team, excelled in track, where he specialized in the pole vault and made a name for himself on the wrestling team. Whereas after graduation, Steve worked for Speedway Disposable, Tandem Landscaping, National Construction Rental, and most proudly, he served as a highway maintainer 3 for the county Department of Transportation. Steve was a member of the Aurora Archers Club and his dad were avid bow hunters that entered many competitions over the years and took hunting trips in Illinois and Colorado where they hunted elk and white-tailed deer. He also enjoyed fishing with his family and friends. He is sitting around a campfire and making it lit for himself. He loved the Denver Broncos, hiking and climbing. Steve Chedister was preceded in death by his daughter, Alyssa Lee Chedister, his paternal grandparents, Lawrence and Beverly Chedister, his maternal grandparents, Stephen and Ruth Dawson, and his faithful dog, Montana Marie, and recently his faithful dog, Gracie May. Whereas Steve Chedister is survived by his loving wife, Lorraine, his parents, his siblings, his nieces, his nephews, and countless friends, and many other family members. Therefore be resolved by the Senate of the 99th General Assembly of the State of Illinois that we, along with his family and friends, mourn the passing of Steve Chedister, and be it further resolved that this is a suitable copy of a resolution be presented to the family of Steve Chedister as an expression of our sympathy. Moral of the story is don't drive distracted. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Just a moment.
They are not sugar-free, so enjoy. Yes. I'm gonna fix it.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you.
May I have a motion and a second to declare this National Work Zone Awareness Week?
Roth will make the motion.
Guy, second?
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please. A.
No, I'm good. It's just two.
Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guy, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
William,
Yes.
Doherty.
No.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No.
Thank you. Tepe.
That'd be yes. Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation declaring May 2025 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in Kane County.
Williams moves. Roth will second.
So let me, our new process is that proclamations are going to go through wherever appropriate committees. Okay, this proclamation reads as follows. proclaiming May 2025 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in Kane County. Whereas the safety of our highways and streets is the highest priority for both Kane County and the state of Illinois. And whereas motorcycles serve as a primary, common, and economical means of transportation, helping to reduce fuel consumption, alleviate road wear, and ease traffic and parking congestion. And whereas it is vital that all citizens of Kane County remain aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And whereas Abate of Illinois, a brotherhood aimed towards education, actively promotes motorcycle safety, education, and awareness through high school driver education programs and outreach efforts to the general public, reaching over 120,000 participants across Illinois in the past 9 years. And whereas all motorcyclists are invited to join Abate of Illinois in advocating for the safe operation of motorcycles, promoting motorcycle safety education, and fostering respect among all road users in Kane County and throughout Illinois. And whereas motorcyclists in Kane County have made contributions through volunteerism and charitable donations to national and local organizations. And whereas during the month of May, all roadway users are encouraged to unite in the shared responsibility of safety using roadways within Kane County and throughout Illinois. And now therefore be it proclaimed that the Kane County Board does hereby recognize May 25, 2025 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in Kane County, Illinois. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, yes,
I'd like to know if they promote or encourage helmet wearing. They say safety, but the word helmet is missing.
we'll look into that.
As a member, no.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Berman, Iqbal,
Iqbal, no.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
No.
Pepe.
Steffi, yes.
Passes 5-2.
Okay, next in finance, I'd like to welcome Ashley Young in her new position. So this is your baptism of fire.
Thank you. I have included in the committee packet the finance reports for transportation. If you have any questions, let me know.
Oh, that's too easy.
Take it.
Okay. Any questions? Nope. Let's move on. Maintenance, Mike Way.
Good morning. You'll find your monthly maintenance report. Not much going on, moving from winter operations to the summer operations. So getting the mowers ready, various ditching projects, roadway improvements. I did want to highlight that on Saturday, 4/12, staff did take part in their own time on the Adopt a Highway pickup for Steve Chester. We try and do this yearly. We adopted that section, and staff does try and meet out there once a year. We do kind of talk about his story with the newer staff and kind of spread that knowledge around. For us, every day in maintenance, we treat every day as National Work Zone Awareness Week. We don't just do it one week, we do it every day. Safety is the number one priority for the motoring public and for the maintenance workers out there. So we usually, once a week, we'll have talks about things that are happening, but that form of distracted driving is out there, but a more aggressive form of aggressive driving is kind of the new thing after COVID. We're starting to see, even on our 4 lanes, cars passing on the right, in the shoulder, on the TMA. So it's not just distracted driving anymore. It is a new form of aggressive driving. I think the sheriff talked about it at a public safety meeting around COVID time. They're saying the same thing. So with that, I do have one resolution for some new Adopt a Highways.
Yeah, I have a motion and second to discuss.
Caius would move.
Roth, a second.
Okay. Go
So-
ahead, Mike.
This month, we just have 5 renewals. One is going to be on Kirk Road from Fabian to Cherry Lane, Kesslinger Road from Fisher Drive to Peck, Randall Road from Crane Road to Redgate, French Road from Illinois 72 to Linchow, and Main Street from Nelson Lake to Fabian. I would like to add too that with these adopt the highways, maintenance is currently right in this time of year when we are picking trash up along the roadway because the ditches are a little too wet to do things. When we have it sections that are adopted, that's less work for our guys to do and we get a better product for that. So great program. So if you can, your constituents in your district help sell it a little bit and get more people, my goal would be to get every road adopted.
Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Roth?
We have a little over 700 miles. How many are currently adopted?
I would have to get back to you.
Okay, sorry. That could be offline. Bye.
Roll call, please.
Herman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Pepe.
Steffi, yes. I believe we have another new person joining the KDOT team.
Good morning.
Ms. Heidi Files.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I feel very fortunate to be in my new role at KDOT as Chief of Planning and Programming and Executive Director of the Kane Candle Council of Mayors. I actually have 21 years of transportation planning experience with KDOT, started back in 1998 as an intern, basically.
From the
So-
crib.
So thank you. So thank you for having me. The update is pretty short this month. We are moving through the QBS process for the impact fee program update. This is required by state statute. We have selected a consultant and we are in negotiations on the fees and the scope. There is one item of the scope that is new this year, and that is updating our travel demand model. Our travel demand model is over 20 years old. It's out of date, and the responsible thing to do is to update it. So we're planning on bringing that contract to you in May, and that's my update.
Okay, and you have a resolution?
Resolution is for the technical services agreement between the RTA and Kane County. This is so that the county can receive federal 5310 funds for the mobility management, basically the program administration and the mobility manager salary for the Ride and Cane program. The resolution also authorizes the county engineer to sign off on sponsorship agreements between the Ride and Cane sponsors, the local agencies, those are generally townships, and municipalities and NGOs, non-government organizations, non-for-profits. So it allows him to sign those agreements so that they can participate in the funding of the program.
I have a motion and a second to discuss.
Roth will make the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Herman, Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Pepe.
Steffi, yes.
Passes.
Mr.
Can we
Chair,
have
Caius,
Mr. Caius.
before we move on, I don't want to let Heidi get off that easy. You mentioned the impact fees that we will be doing and are required to implement.
Yep.
I would like to see a good explanation for, in case the new members
Sure.
are not informed on that, and maybe older members have forgotten what
Sure.
it's all about.
Would
And
you
I
like a
think
mini presentation of like a 5 slides next month at the committee?
that would be
just to
great,
talk
and
about? Sure.
what the fees are and how much they're assessed on. And because I think, and then this is the hard part, is I think we have a deficit that's coming up. I think that we need to examine all of our revenue sources, and this may be one of them as we start with this. And I'll mention it as we do a impact fee, but we also discount it 50% or something. So I want to have I like to, from staff, get a perspective on where we fit in with the other collar counties and where this money in our shortfall could possibly be used if we so choose to increase or change it somehow.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, if I can just say a couple of words. The state statute is very clear about the process and what the fees can be used for. And so it can only be used on projects in the comprehensive road improvement program that is for the impact fees. We'll give a presentation and we'll explain the process and the statute and what's outlined. I will say that also Kane County is the only county in northeastern Illinois that has an impact fee program that's outlined by the state statutes. And also there is an impact fee advisory committee that will be active during the program update. And there are 2, possibly 3, I don't remember, but outlined by the state statutes, county board members that will also be required to participate. That'll be nominated by the chair of the county board. So they will also be representing the county board during the process, but we'll bring a presentation to you next
Okay,
month.
great. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we have 2 more resolutions, but I believe Tom is going to handle these.
Yes, I will handle the next 2 resolutions. Tom Rickert from the Division of Transportation. The first one is approving amendment number 2 to an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Kane and the City of St. Charles for access and improvements to Randall Road from Illinois 64 to Dean Street. The resolution is in your packet as well as the executive summary. As directed by the County Board Transportation Committee, KDOT staff has worked with the City of St. Charles staff, which are in the audience. Thank you for attending this morning. On amendment number 2 for the intergovernmental agreement, which would approve a write-in only or a write-in, write-out only access to the property in the northwest corner of Randall and 64. The intergovernmental agreement is within your packet. We've worked again closely on finalizing this at the direction of the committee. And the IGA authorizes KDOT staff to proceed forward with the permitting process as development is considered by the city.
Roth will make the motion.
Williams seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Caius.
this has been brought up a number of times, this modification in the traffic at the corner of 64 and Randall Road. I know that there are, in particular, there is a write-in, write-out that was requested in my area in northern Kane County on a very similar type of intersection, and it was not allowed because it is not safe. It lies outside and correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection is it lies outside the recommended lengths and the parameters that would make this a safe intersection. I know it's a very busy intersection, so I will not be voting for it. And it's because I believe that it's probably not going to be safe in the future. And I think we owe our constituents to be consistent on our voting or our policy on what we allow for the safety of our Randall Road or our highways. There you go.
Mr. Chair Williams. So I'm very familiar with this property. This property has been largely vacant in excess of 20 years. And I think the reason for the vacancy is the poor access. So I appreciate what KDOT's done here to accommodate the city of St. Charles requests and put a prime piece of commercial property back into economic viability. So I will be supporting this resolution.
Mr. Chair.
Any other comments?
Mr.
Roth?
I agree with Mr. Williams. KDOT's been working with the city for a few years, and he's correct. That property's been not used in economic development for over 20 years. So there's a medium on Randall, so it prevents people trying to go north. So, but just to make sure to have the right in, right out is the right solution. So I will be supporting it too.
Mr. Chair, Linder.
At the end.
Linder.
Oh, Mr. Linder.
Yeah, this is in my district. It is a very busy intersection. And, you know, the reason that the business that was once on that corner failed was that access was so terrible. I'm concerned about the safety very much. Randall Road in that sector has become so busy and so crazy that I am concerned, but I trust that you're going to do the right thing. I'm worried about where that right out comes out. Right in, no problem. Right out, I don't know where you're dumping it. And if it's right before the stoplight, it's going to be a problem, but we have to do something for it. I understand that.
Mr. Caius?
Just my second and last comment is that if you read our committee goals, it says reasonably, and I understand that's why we're having this discussion, reasonably progress public safety is our very first item. So I think that overweighs economic interest if it's going to endanger our constituents.
Mr. Grape?
I may. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this, I drive this every day, dozens of times every day, just south of my district as well. And I know when I pull into this lane here that you take your life in your hands. And there's other ways, the Mercedes dealership, the Audi dealership that sit there now, have entrances that would allow access, or you could get in off of 64. But it's interesting to me that we're considering this, and Mr. Caius, I really appreciate your point, because when we started this meeting, we listened to a lady talking about what happened when people aren't paying attention. And I could count on 20 hands in 10 minutes how many people drive in this very spot, not paying attention, and like at 60, 70 miles an hour, they come down you take your life in your hands. And I would hate to see us say, there's only one way to develop this property, and have another speech given by somebody else who said, yeah, my car was rear-ended, my car was sideswiped. It's, but we got a business in there. We've killed 15 people, but it's not safe. And I think the Mercedes and Audi dealership have proven that the existing access works to make their businesses successful. So we could proof off of that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Excuse me, Doherty.
Mr. Doherty, I didn't see your hand up.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
there I see it. Sorry, sorry. Too many screens.
Yeah, I hear you. I just want to point out to all the hand wringers over there that, excuse me, that this intersection, the other three corners of this intersection have closer right in, right outs than the proposed commercial lot. They're all closer to the light than the one proposed. And there are no accidents happening every other day. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but everybody just knows what's going on there and just behaves themselves. And I just want to point out, Mr. Chair, that Mr. Caius can use this as an example for his intersection in his district, because this is a situation where the regulations are overbroad and they're safe the way they are, not the regulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Alan?
Ms. Gumbs?
No, Alan, it's Alan.
Well, Ms. Gumbs may be
Oh, I'm
trying
sorry,
to talk
Ms.
too.
Allen.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Elgin.
Can you
as
speak up a little bit?
Maybe.
Or the reason why I didn't hear you?
I think that's the best I can do. Is that any good?
That's much better.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Elgin, as such an old city, has this kind of problem also. And the way we've largely solved the problem is by using the frontage roads or side streets so that you can get out of a business without trying to move right into traffic. So I think Mr. Gripe's comments about the frontage road connecting to the Mercedes dealership and to that light is a safe way to solve this problem and easily usable. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you. Now roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, no.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, no.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Tepe.
Tepe, yes.
5-2 passes.
Okay. Rickard?
The next resolution in front of you, this is our annual adoption of our 5-year transportation improvement program, as well as our 5-year financial plan. This was presented to committee last month and as a draft, and now it comes before you. We typically adopt this on an annual basis in the March, April timeframe. And so we're slightly behind at this point in time, but we want to proceed forward. What I was going to do is just spend a little bit of time just talking about the overall tip. And the tip, again, this is required by state statute, and we have to adopt this on an annual basis. It's the foundation for our project development, as well as the foundation for our budget development. Our initial budget efforts will be focused on this, knowing full well too, though, that the county board over the next number of months will be working on the overall county budget aspects. It's a working document, so KDOT on a regular basis is updating it, but again, we do have to, by state law, have it in place. Transportation improvement projects, there's over 150 projects at various stages of development, which total to about $540 million worth of projects. The various stages include studies, ongoing studies, phase 1 engineering. Without those studies and phase 1 engineering, you cannot go after federal and state grants. It also includes phase 2 engineering, which is the final design engineering, right-of-way acquisition, E3, which is construction engineering, and then the construction. And then there's another final aspect where we're getting invoices, especially with state and federal projects. We're getting invoices for a project that might have been completed 3, 4, 5 years prior. And so Ashley, that's one of her jobs, is to track those invoices and continue to make sure that when IDOT submits an invoice saying that we owe them $5 million, that we get them paid. When you looked at her financial report earlier, her financial report showed about $90 million of encumbrances. So we have existing funds in place that are in our bank accounts, but we have encumbrances, POs, that go to about $90 million of that money that's sitting in our accounts that are due, and Ashley's making sure that those are being paid. Most of our projects are multi-year projects, typically taking 5 to 10 years. A month or two ago, we went through that whole process. Each one of those stages can take 2 to 3 years to get through. And so any type of project development is typically, if it's a real quick project, it's 5 years. If it's a major project, it's 10+ years to do. So that's why last month I said to all of the committee members, if you have a project, let us know and we'll do our best to see if we can look at putting it in here. We didn't receive any requests for projects. And so at this point in time, the tip includes no new projects added. That was the same last year. A lot of that deals with fiscal constraints. On an annual recurring basis, we get about $52 million in revenues. On an annual recurring expenditures, we spend about $50 million. And so there's just a couple million on an annual basis that we have available for matching funds for federal projects. 72% of the project costs, 38 million, are obligations. And I mean that, obligations that are from existing contracts that are due to safety. I'm sorry, from existing contracts, that's where the encumbrances come. But then we also have obligations that are due to safety, road and bridge maintenance, agreement commitments, and completing federal and state funded projects. 28% of the multi-year projects being studied, or E1, are E1 engineering. This is, what's meant by this is that they are project development. We're still looking at proceeding forward and developing those projects. Those types of projects include like the widening of Huntley Road between Randall and Sleepy Hollow Road. At this point in time, that project is in the multi-year. There's a couple other projects too that are of significance, that like the US 20 interchange. We need to continue to move forward. There's things that we have to do maintenance wise with different aspects of that interchange, but it's in the multi-year. There's a lot of other projects, and I gave you all a list last month of about $108 million worth of projects that are critical major expenditures that have to move forward, like bridge deck replacements, et cetera. So if you want to pull out that list, they're all within the tip, but I just want to make sure that you're aware that there are 72% that have to proceed forward no matter what. The 28% are kind of in the phase where we're trying to develop projects to go after federal funds. The slides that I'm going to show you real quick now are not comprehensive. The projects listed are primary efforts of the county. So expansion projects, there's a number of projects listed here. What I will say is that most of these projects are either completed or they're significantly underway because we have to proceed forward with them. The completed projects, the reason they're on this list is because we owe the state of Illinois millions of dollars for those projects that we will ultimately get invoiced for over the next couple years. The ones that are underway are ones that we have to proceed forward for various reasons. And then there are some projects that are listed here, which we need to do exploratory aspects like French Road at Harmony, that extension in the village of Hampshire. That one's been in our tip for a number of years, but we have not been able to start the phase one, but we need to if we're going to be looking at the future funding sources for that over the next 5 to 10 years. There's other projects like the Randall Road at Kesslinger and the Randall Road at Prairie Street where we have significant issues at those intersections. And we need to start looking at those projects, but those projects right now are pushed into the multi-year because of funding issues at this point in time. So there's a list and the various reasons or statuses of where they're at. The intersection safety operational improvements, these are all projects too that are generally underway, but there are also projects here that we know that we need to figure out a way to resolve the issues, the Bowes, Corn, and Nestler Road. That's a feasibility phase one engineering only. Our goal is to use some of the impact fee funds, which this project is eligible to at least get it started so we can see how to address that improvement. There are some temporary improvements that where we put in temporary signals that we need to continue to proceed forward, like the Burlington at Silver Glen or the Montgomery Road at Howell Place. There's different intersections that are temporary improvements that we need to complete. There's a number of safety projects, communication enhancements for our 140 plus signals out in our system. So again, a list of various projects that are in the tip. Bicycle pedestrian improvements. This right now is something that we're kind of slowing down our efforts because we know we got to address some of the fiscal issues within our program development. So the Burlington Road bicycle accommodations, that was all moved into the multi-year. We're still required by law to do ADA improvements. So as required, we're gonna at least address some of that. IDOT requires that we address some of that during our maintenance cycle. And a couple other projects at the Montgomery Road at Virgil Gilman, we're looking at a final invoice for that. And then the Randall Road multimodal corridor for bicycle pedestrian. We've come close, or we're close to finalizing the phase 1 engineering. And our goal is to address some of the many concerns that came forward from the public up on the north end of the county for some of the pedestrian bicycle crossings. Maintenance of pavement. This is one of our primary charges. Right now, on a regular basis, we're looking at over $12 million worth of resurfacing, crack sealing, pavement preservation, and pavement marking, and doing what we can to ensure a safe riding surface. Our maintenance of bridges and structures. We have a number of structures that we review, do safety inspections on a every year, or a 2-year, or a 4-year, depending on the status of the structure. So there's a bunch of money that goes into this. These are the general maintenance aspects that you see on this list, totaling about $1 million. But we also have a number of projects that come out of these inspections. Essentially, right now within our TIP, we have 61 repair or replacement projects. We have to keep up on the repair. If we don't, we're soon looking at much more expensive replacement projects. But there's also a number of replacement projects that we have to do, or we'll be looking at reducing the weight loads of those bridges and having safety concerns on those bridges. And so there's 61 bridges. This is a big segment of our budget that we present on a yearly basis, is the repair replacement aspects. So that's just kind of highlighting the various projects. Again, there's over 150 projects within the TIP. The draft that I presented to you last month, we did move some of the projects out into the multi-year, and that was more to just make as best we could the TIP fiscally constrained. You'll see in 2028, we're still at a negative $11 million, but some of that we might be receiving federal bridge maintenance funds. And so that's not a concern at this point in time. Again, during the budget process, there might be many more discussions, but this is what the county board has directed us to do. We've added no new projects. We've done our best to look at fiscally constraining those projects. And so staff is recommending approval of the Transportation Improvement Program.
May I have a motion and second so we can discuss this?
Roth will make the motion.
Williams seconds.
William second. Okay, before we go into discussion, I have a couple of comments I'd like to make. The financing and associated with transportation is extremely complex, hard to understand, even if you're in the middle of it. And what we've attempted to do in the past several months is to have presentations, for the committee and the board to understand some level of that complexity, where the funding is coming from, and what happens if we don't do certain things. So one of the key things about this is that we are required to have a 5-year plan. And I know that Mike and Tom and the rest of the staff have worked hard to come up with this. And they understand it in detail. So personally, I'm recommending that we pass this plan. And if it needs to be revised, depending upon what might happen in the next few months, believe me, they're ready and able to change that. So there's my comments. Next, Mr. Roth.
Thank you. Roth here. Tom, I had a couple questions on your report. When you say final payment, does that mean it'll be paid in current budget year or within?
I will tell you that we have done projects that were federal projects and receive an invoice sometimes 3, 5, 7 years after the project is completed. We receive an invoice for $5 or $10 million that is due to the state of Illinois because, but all that money is encumbered. When you look at Ashley's financial plan that she has in the packet, we have $90 million worth of our funds currently encumbered, which means that there are contracts in place, there are POs in place, and we've been making payments on those projects. I can't tell you, it depends when the state of Illinois invoices us. 3, 5, 7 years is the worst I've ever seen. It all depends.
A couple follow-ups on that. Are we earning interest on that, even though it's encumbered?
We are earning interest, probably close to $5 to $6 million a year lately. All that interest has always rolled back into the tip. So there's a significant amount of interest that will make the maintenance, the future project maintenance happen. And so interest is very critical to this plan.
And then another follow-up on that. Do we ever get a surprise of something we're not aware of?
No, we're pretty much tracking everything. There's when there's reconciling, I don't know if that's a good word, but at the end of a project, you're reconciling. I've shared with you in the past that our construction engineers during construction, when they're out in the field, they're working really hard to save monies, and quite a few of our projects, we actually save dollars. Perhaps on average, $1 million a year we save because of our engineers being out in the field.
Okay. And then one final question. When you said multi-year, does that mean it's going out to year 4 and 5 or 2, 3 and 5 or year 20 or?
Multi-year, I would look at multi-year as probably 5 to 10.
Okay.
These are projects that were brought forward by either staff or by the county board because of the need. There are a number of projects here that there are concerns relative to the backups that are occurring, like at Prairie Street, or the backups that are occurring at Route 20. We've done some, I'll call them temporary, but they've actually been significant improvements that our design section has done just to enhance the flow of traffic. Randall at 90, we worked with the city of Elgin on their ALF project in order to put an outside third lane into the interchange. And that's gained us a little bit of life, but we also have the bridge over I-90 needs to be replaced within the next 5 or so years. And so we're still having to proceed forward with the interchange improvements at a pretty significant cost in order to address that bridge over I-90. And so there's a lot of, as our chair stated, there's a lot of aspects of this that are moving parts.
Okay, thank you very much.
And just to add on to that, part of the challenge is that some of the multi-year projects are in the budget because that money is encumbered.
Right.
Okay. I've racked my brain and questioned Tom and Mike on how we could do it differently and have been unable to come up with an alternative.
Well, I mean, follow up on that. You know, I had met with Mike a couple of weeks ago, and Vern, you were there. And I think there was a good example given. You know, we're given the example, Randall Hobbs over, the tracks there. You know, we have federal money and state money assigned, and we have to match that. So in a way, and what was that project's estimated, 60 million? And we've been given 30. That means we got to come up with 30 million. Otherwise, that other 30 million disappears. Am I correct in the way I restated that? I think that's a simple explanation to, you know,
And we currently have those funds available.
right.
Yeah, I would actually add that Randall and Hobbs has even more than 30 million because we do have the ICC funds.
Right.
And we do have the federal infra funds as well as some STP funds. So a significant portion, nearly, I'm trying to remember, I think it's 72% of the project is funded.
Right.
So it would be good if we're able to do that.
And not every project are we that in good of shape, right?
Yes.
But that's a good example to try to explain it. I felt.
Okay, any other questions? Mr. Caius?
Your, excuse me, your slideshow that you were presenting on, it had the summaries of those or the highlighted, that's not in our agenda this time.
No, I can
That part.
send it out to the committee.
Did we see that? Cause the table is, for the tip table is long.
Yeah, you.
What is
No,
the, what is
I'd
the
be
blue
glad.
coding?
I'd be glad to send that out to committee.
What does some of the color coding mean, like the blue versus white on the tip table?
The blue is the project. All the white underneath it is the project continuing because there's various stages of the project. The green is the darker green is the current year and the lighter green is the upcoming years.
Yeah. Which extends actually out 2 other years, right? The dark green does? On some of it? Or is that just for?
The dark green is just one column. The lighter green is 4 columns. The outside year is FY 2029 as well as multi-year projects. We're required to have a 5-year transportation improvement program. And so there's 5 years up top. Some of the projects in the 5th year are multi-year projects.
Mr. Chairman, Allen,
I'm sorry, Miss Allen?
could Mr. Rickert send that out to all of us, please?
I sure can.
Will do.
Thanks.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Berman. Oh, please away, sorry. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Doherty,
Oh, yes.
Tepe.
Deputy, yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Permitting. Bert?
Thank you and good morning. Mike Way handed me a quick note in response to your question earlier about adopt a highway, if I could just answer that real quick. The numbers that we have are 113.5 centerline miles out of 330 total center miles have been adopted. So
Okay.
just wanted to let you know about that.
So about a third, you're saying? All right, thanks.
Okay, the permit report is in your packet as always, listing the major access permits that we have kind of in the hopper. These are the most kind of serious or far along in our review process. I just point out that in the past couple of weeks, we've held 2 pre-construction meetings for 2 of those. That would be number 5 and number 6, Main and Deer Path in the city of Batavia for right in, right out access for a long-term transitional care facility. And the other one is Village of Algonquin. That's at Long Meadow and Stonegate. That would be the 4th leg of an existing 3-leg intersection for Algonquin Meadows residential subdivision. So there's going to be construction on the county roadways, as with all access permits. The road improvements are access related, so all of those costs are entirely the responsibility of the land developer. So, and that's a condition of access permit approval. So those will be coming here starting in the next couple of weeks, road construction at those 2 locations.
Questions? Mr. Caius?
And we just recently did a review of the permits, cost of the permits last couple of years or something. Is that what I recall?
That was a year ago.
The permit fees that we
Permit fees,
charge.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have recently realigned those. Speaking of getting more money.
That's right.
Or not.
Effective April 1st is what the resolution said. So yeah, we are under that new permit fee schedule right now.
So they align with what we discussed So we looked at them, reviewed them.
That's right.
And traffic operation? Did you?
Sure thing. There we go. Yep, traffic operations report, showing the activities of traffic operations group. I just call your attention to kind of a recurring item on this report, which might obscure it from regular notice, but it's under the ongoing routine activities section, the third bullet point there. Record and investigate receive motorists operations related complaints. I mentioned that because we've had some public comment here about traffic safety, and thought it's an opportunity to just briefly talk about the inquiries that come to our office on a regular basis, anywhere from 3 to 5 in a given week, seeking always stop changes or new signage changes or guardrail or traffic signals or things along those lines that require staff to kind of evaluate them, sometimes collect data to thoroughly and just conscientiously look into the merits of a given access. So that kind of happens perhaps under the radar sometimes, but it does take a lot of time and effort to give them the attention they deserve. So we review those requests, apply the guidelines that come down to us from state and federal manuals that give us a direction on the proper treatments. So I just wanted to mention that kind of under the radar activities of this group. That was all I had.
Questions? All right, let's move on to project implementation. Good morning, Jennifer.
Morning. I'd like to start this morning by introducing the committee to a new design engineer that we have in our design section at KDOT, Callie McPherson. Could give us a wave, thanks. Callie is from Northern Michigan, and she received both of her undergraduate environmental engineering and a master's environmental engineering degree from Michigan State University. She started her career at a private consulting firm in Will County, and we've been lucky enough to obtain her for our staff here at KDOT, and she's been doing a great job and very excited about the positive impact she'll have on KDOT in the future.
Welcome to Kane County.
Moving along, we have started some work on our construction sites. So you will see these two slides are showing tree clearing that has occurred on our projects. Tree clearing is required to occur before March 31st every year. We're not allowed to take down any trees for our roadway projects between April 1st and October 31st. During that time, the northern long-eared bat has its active season and it is roosting during that time. And so we're not allowed to take down trees in order to protect that species. So you'll see here is a picture of our Bunker Road realignment project that will begin construction very soon. Trees have been taken down at that construction site, as well as our Randall at 72 intersection reconstruction improvement. The construction letting won't occur for that project until later this year, but we wanted to make sure the trees were down during our open season. I'll move on to resolutions. As I present these next two resolutions, which are township resurfacing contracts, I've been asked to clarify that KDOT assists our townships by helping them administer their state-issued MFT funds. So when a highway commissioner from a township undergoes a contract, he submits a written request to Ashley for the expenditure of his MFT funds. KDOT assists by opening the bids, and then the county board approves the expenditure of their MFT funds. Just wanted to make that clarification as we move on to resolution B, which staff recommends approval of a contract with Steffens 3D Construction for $127,892 and change for the Virgil Township Road District's chip seal and bituminous surface treatment project, which will resurface 1.6 miles of roadway within that township.
Williams moves.
Roth will second.
Any
Question,
discussion, Mr. Roth?
clarification. Who has the money? Is it in the township's accounts or is it in the KDOT's accounts? What you were talking about.
Yes.
Know what you're talking about. Ashley, do you know the answer to that question? Thank you.
Yeah, the county holds the money, but it is a township's.
Right, so it's a
fund.
restricted fund
Yeah,
for
it's a
that township.
custodial fiduciary fund.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Berman. He's still gone, I'm sorry. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Pepe.
Deputy, yes.
Passes.
Okay,
Staff recommends approval of a contract with Geske and Sons for $128,909 and change for the Rutland Township Road District's resurfacing project, which will resurface 0.65 miles of roadway within that township.
Roth will make the motion.
I'll second.
okay. Moved and seconded by Roth and Williams. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Pepe.
Deputy, yes.
Passes.
Okay. Jennifer?
The county has an agreement from 2022 with Benish to provide Phase 1 engineering services for the study of pedestrian accommodations along the northernmost 9 miles of Randall Road. And the county would like to extend the terms of that agreement by 3 years with a new termination date of June 30th, 2028. No change in the appropriation amount is requested.
Roth will make the motion.
Caius would move.
Caius, a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Iqbal,
I'm helping you out.
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Pepe.
Yes.
Passes.
I'll let you do the next one.
Go on.
In order to complete the Randall Road and Big Timber Road intersection improvement project, right-of-way acquisition is required. Staff recommends approval of this resolution, which authorizes the county to acquire the parcel as described in the resolution.
Mr. Caius.
May I have a motion and a second?
Caius move.
We'll second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Pepe.
Deputy, yes.
Passes.
Mr. Koffenbarger?
Yes, thank you. Today, I'd like to provide an update regarding the proposed, well, let me back up. Back in September 2023, I presented information to this committee regarding the proposed development expansion project for the corporate headquarters of Aldi, located at the intersection of Kirk Road and Douglas Road. And I'd like to pull up the exhibit, but yes, thank you. You may recall back at that time, this project was called Project Bluegill. This corporate headquarters expansion project is projected to include a new 56,000 square foot, 2-story building plus a basement with a total projected investment of $30 million, along with the creation of new jobs. Currently, there's only a ride-out access at Douglas Road along Kirk Road. That's the east leg of Douglas Road. And thank you. And shown above is the proposed improvement. I'll get into those details in a little bit. KDOT staff has been working with Aldi, specifically Jen O'Connell with the engineering aspects, pulling together the contract plans, working with Aldi's consultant, I should say. And I've been involved helping develop the agreement along with the SAO's office, detailing each entity's responsibility to engineer, transfer land, and construct an intersection reconstruction and improvement at this location. The proposed improvement would include a full access signalized intersection with left and right turn lanes to accommodate the future projected traffic generated by this expansion. Shown on the exhibit is a crosshatched area that will be grind and resurface and striped to provide improved operations at the intersection. And then along the right hand here is full depth new pavement to accommodate that northbound right turn lane. You can see some of the limits of our improvement on the east and west legs are shown right here, but you can see some of the improvements that go offsite into the Aldi location. KDOT has agreed to be the local agency sponsor in order for Aldi to receive awarded state economic development EDP program funding from IDOT that has been awarded to Aldi for $2 million towards these roadway improvements at the intersection. So no county funds will be expended in order to accommodate, but we will act as a flow through. So here's how we anticipate that would work. Aldi would deposit funds equivalent to and prior to the construction contract award by this committee and the board. As construction gets underway, KDOT would use those funds to pay the general contractor's pay estimates. And then we would turn around and seek EDP funding reimbursement from IDOT. Once that funding reimbursement's been received, we would forward it back to Aldi. No county funds, again, would go towards this. We'll be going through a phase 3 engineering or construction engineering QBS selection process. We'll negotiate an agreement with that firm. Then Aldi would deposit funds equivalent to that account, and we would then use those funds to pay the phase 3 engineering firm to oversee construction. So we've been working, drafting an agreement that would detail all of those items, and we would help Aldi develop a set of construction plans that meets KDOT's and IDOT's requirements and finalize that agreement. In addition, since Kirk Road is a limited access freeway, staff will present the agreement that I just spoke about and a resolution requesting a major access permit for your consideration in a month or two at a future transportation committee meeting. That's the update. Does anyone
Any
have any questions?
anticipated dates for completion?
Well, there's a lot of steps.
Not going to hold your feet to the fire, but
We anticipate a late fall letting. Utility relocation needs to occur. ComEd needs to move 2 poles. So that would need to occur in the fall over the winter as weather allows into the spring. Construction, major construction we would occur then would start in the spring of next year, and this would be completed during the 2026 construction season.
so we will get approximately $2 million upfront from Aldi.
No, we'll get, we're going to have a final engineer's estimate that'll be developed by their consultant. We'll then request Aldi to deposit funds equivalent to that amount into our account. We'll then open bids and see what the low bid amount is. It'll be either less than or greater than the engineer's estimate, because I don't think I've ever seen one come in exactly to the penny. If additional funding is necessary, they'll deposit more funds if they want to proceed with executing that contract. But if adequate funds, bids come in below the engineer's estimate, we'll utilize those funds then to pay the pay estimates of the contractors as the contract proceeds. IDOT has $2 million worth of EDP funds sitting there. So as we use the Aldi funds to pay the contractor, we'll ask IDOT to reimburse us periodically. they're really reimbursing Aldi because we'll act as a pass-through and send those EDP funds back to IDOT up to the $2 million limit.
Simple accounting, right? Okay, any questions? Mr. Gray?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the state's involved in this, at least to some extent, and I know that they can take 6, 7 years to reimburse for things. Is there any point at which, and I would feel sorry for Aldi, but that we would be left holding the bag, so to speak, for payments, waiting for the state?
Aldi, to use your words, would be left holding the bag. Again, we'll be getting funds deposited to equivalent to the contract amount, whatever that low bid is. So no county funds, Aldi will be depositing funds equivalent to that account. What could be held up is when we invoice IDOT for reimbursement of the EDP funds, that proceeds well during the construction contract. It's that final closeout, those final invoices that Tom was referring to. That's where things get held up at IDOT. As our consultants work with the general contractor and they close out every pay item, IDOT reviews all of the paperwork, clears up any clarifications need to be done. And that's where that final payment, the final invoice can get delayed.
Thank you.
Thanks, easy to understand.
We don't do this very often. IDOT requires a local agency to be that recipient of the EDP funds, but it's good for economic development. We receive an improvement on our county route, and we were the ones to step up and provide, be the sponsor for Aldi. So,
All right, thank you. I'm going to skip number 15 for now. We need to go into executive session. So Mr. Caius?
Mr. Chair, this is Caius. I would move that we go into executive session to discuss land acquisition.
William. Well, please.
Mr. Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Roth? Williams?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
Pepe?
Yes. I'd ask that anybody not involved in this, please leave and please take all of your personal items with you. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, everybody online that's joining us in the closed session, please accept your invites. Be aware we are live streaming. I will let you know when we are together again and ready to start the closed session. Accept those invites, and a reminder to those in the room, you must also accept before we begin. I have one online individual that has not accepted their invite. Is there anybody hearing my voice that feels they should be in the closed session?
If they hear us, wouldn't they be in?
Damn it.
I saw that. If not you, somebody else, but.
Morning, Alex.
We're ready?
Royal, need room? Just let me, sorry, I
brought in a
spread
whole
out.
bunch of
Nobody was
people.
around, so. Well, I'm gonna be out of here pretty quick. I
Oh,
hope.
they were having a party out there.
Yeah, it did sound like it, didn't it?
A party out there.
All right,
already?
you are in open session.
All right, we're returning to open session. Roll call, please.
Berman, Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Caius,
Present.
Roth here.
Williams,
Tim's here.
Doherty,
Go to here.
Pepe.
Steppy here.
An in-person quorum.
We need a motion and a second on a resolution approving the acquisition of highway right-of-way for Randall Road at Illinois, Route 72, Eldon, Illinois, Kane County, section number 19-00514-00-WR, parcel number 1PK004.
Caius would move.
Caius moves. Roth seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Roth, Williams,
Williams, no.
Doherty,
Go to yes.
Pepe.
Reluctantly, yes.
Passes with one no.
Okay. I need a motion to replace reports on file.
Roth would move. We do unanimous approval,
Okay.
consent.
Any objection? Okay. Is there any new business? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?